Hello everyone, this is Gabriel Albino. I'm going to give my contribution to the discussion of our topic this week. I'm going to talk about communication in the context of organization change. Well, organization must be able to respond to changes, and as Kelly and Williams, for example, say, organization may have several resources, but they will not succeed in a constantly changing environment if they cannot respond to change. For this reason, individuals and organizations must show openness to change. So, where does communication come in? Well, to cope with changes, organizations must be learning organizations. And this status, the fact that they are learning organizations, must be communicated to the employees. This communication can come in the form of clarity in terms of what tasks that employees need to accomplish, and by involving employees in decision making. When organizations proceed this way, individuals perceive them as learning organizations. Employees then perceive that their organizations are learning organizations, okay? And the employee who show openness to change can see that there is a match between their openness to change and the organization is open to change. So this way, our communication mediates the match between uh, individuals' openness to change and organizations' openness to change. In fact, Ku et al. Have done a study in which they investigated the role of communication in mediating the individual's openness to change, the match between the individual's openness to change and their organization's openness to change. And they also investigate the match between the organization's open to change and the individual's open to change. So in this investigation, they also they saw how the role of communication varied in terms of learning organizations. Okay. So as we can see here in this figure, we see that when there is a match between individuals' openness to change and organizations' openness to change, okay, and this match is communicated from the communication, from organizational communication. Now, this plays a positive role. Okay, organizations are perceived as learning organizations, and their effort to respond to change becomes stronger. This is done through communication from the high level of organization. Communication also occurs between employees. For example, when an employee shares knowledge, okay, with the other colleague, okay, let's say an employee shares knowledge of advanced Excel, okay, with other colleagues. No, the employee is passing information, he's communicating information. So according to Ku et al., this kind of communication is based on an employee's motivation, okay, and this is not influenced by the organization. And because it's influenced by employee's motivation, so it creates a strength, okay, and the knowledge sharing also becomes strong. But when this communication is coming from the organizational level, I mean, when it is, for example, the management that dictates that employees must share knowledge, okay, this may not have the same effect as when the initiative to share knowledge comes from the employees. All right, so this study, for example, showed that so communication has positive, the mediating effect of communication is stronger when the communication comes from the top level of the organization, okay, and it's weaker when the communication for knowledge sharing comes from a top level organization. Now, this is a very good contribution that the study has done to the existing knowledge, because according to the author, previous study focused on the level of the organization in one side only, I mean, focusing only on the organizational level. But this study is focusing on both organizational level and individual level. So this is a great contribution. But on the other hand, there are questions that still need to be answered. For example, the finding that when the communication comes from top level has a positive effect, but we don't know what determinants of communication can really influence the positive understanding of the learning organization. So it is important that determinants of communication from the top level of the organization must be understood, so that the management work on those elements and improve the elements to incentivize openness to change and consequently survive in turbulent environments. Another situation that can be another element that can be investigated further is the openness to change. So we've seen here that when there is a match, between individuals open to change and organizations open to change, the learning organization state is positively perceived. But when there is a mismatch between organizations open to change and individuals open to change, the knowledge sharing is not positively related to the mediating role of communication. So in this case, organizations openness to change is greater than individuals openness to change. Now, what if, for example, individuals openness to change is greater than that of the organization? Okay, so these are elements that need to be investigated further for our understanding of the mediating role of communication in order to enhance an organization's ability to respond to change and survive in constantly changing environment. All right, so thank you very much for your watching, or thank you very much for following my explanation. I hope I was as clear as possible, and I'll be waiting for your questions or comments on this. Thank you very much. Bye.